Hello, YouTube. This is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and I very briefly want to share with you some observations and some things I've learned in my life. And this is directly regarding people's very kind well wishings for me after my video that I shared last night. So, last night I talked about a lot of things, but one of the things that I shared was the fear that I'm experiencing as I'm going through this shamanic initiation. And the fear that seemed to stimulate people the most of mine was the fear that I was going to disappear. This seemed to trigger people, and I got a couple of well meaning wishes, but I want to share with you how your good intentions are actually, not only are they not helpful, they're actually abusive. And you may have multiple things going on. You clearly have honest, clear intentions to help. This is very common, by the way. This is a very normal reaction in our society to people who have very intense feelings that we either are uncomfortable with or don't know how to deal with. One of the lessons that I wanted to share last night with I was being very transparent, and I did that consciously. I consciously wanted you to know what I was experiencing because it's very likely you have had those experiences and very likely will have those same kinds of feelings as me. I'm not wishing that on you, but it's almost guaranteed that certainly some of you will. And so the idea is whenever you come to somebody and you tell them they shouldn't feel something, or don't feel bad, or don't be afraid, or you shouldn't have to do this, or people who want to explain it away, number one, you're talking down to me as if I don't, know what's going on. When people want to say things like, fear is just being afraid of the unknown, and you don't need to be afraid of. You don't think I know that? Of course I know that. Feelings are not rational. And where this comes from is this comes from people's inability to tolerate their own feelings. So when somebody's having a feeling that we can't tolerate within ourselves, we then tell them, we try and talk them out of their feelings. This is actually coming from, in some cases, an intense desire to shut the person up. Because you don't want to, either you don't want to have those feelings, or it makes you uncomfortable that somebody is in pain. And you feel that you have to do something about it. You need to fix them. So be aware that fixing somebody isn't helpful. Talking people out of their feelings is not helpful. In fact, it's abusive. Of course, you didn't mean to be abusive in any way, and nor do I take it that you were abusive. I'm just pointing out to you that that's the fact. So a good way to respond when somebody is having very intense feelings and you either feel for them and you want to help them, which may also have at the same time, you may be so uncomfortable with what you're seeing, or you have those same feelings yourself and you either don't know how to deal with them or you don't want to experience them. When you're in that state, you can say to them, I'm sorry that you're having that feeling. That must be very painful. That must be very frightening. I'm here. I'm your friend. That's really all that you need to do. I'll give you an example. When my father died when I was 35, I was on a film, and I was working on a film, so I couldn't be there as he was dying. And I was incredibly distraught, and I was in a lot of pain. And so, I'd show up to the movie set and I'd do my part, and then I would go, off set somewhere. And I was having the kind of mourning that you have when somebody's dying, where I don't know if you've ever experienced this, where your body will just start to weep, even though consciously you may just be thinking about the weather, and the next thing you know, you're weeping, And so this was happening to me, and a lot of people were uncomfortable with it. And there were people coming around doing that, don't be sad, it's okay, he's happy, they're trying to talk me out of my feelings. And one of my friends, one of my co-stars, who I'd known, actually went to college with, she sat down next to me. That's all she did. She just sat down next to me. She didn't say anything. And when the tears would come up and I would heave and moan, she would just sit there. And I ended up saying to her, do you realize how helpful this is? Everybody else is coming around trying to talk me out of my feelings, and it's driving me crazy. I just need to have these feelings. And all I really want is for somebody to hold my hand as I'm having my pain. I definitely don't want people trying to talk me out of it. And she says, you don't remember, do you? And I said, what do you mean? She said, you did that for me in college. My brother died. And everybody was trying to fix me, and you just sat next to me and held my hand. She said, I never forgot that. So I'm just doing that for you. So bear in mind, I didn't need to come on last night and unburden myself. I wasn't out of control. I was sharing with you the transformation process that is happening for me, so that when it happens to you, you will have remembered that somebody else went through it, and it won't be as traumatizing for you. So while I appreciate everybody's well-wishings for me and wanting to tell me I don't need to feel this, and this is why you shouldn't be afraid, and etc., first off, it tells me you haven't gone through it, because if you did, you wouldn't talk to me like that. And it shows me that you're uncomfortable with your own fear and your own intense feelings. It shows me that perhaps when you were a kid and you had intense feelings, your parents shamed you out of your feelings. Or it just simply shows me that these intense feelings make you uncomfortable. In any case, I appreciate the well-wishings, but just to let you know, as an object lesson going forward with other people in your life, the best way to communicate to somebody your care for them is not to try and talk them out of the real situation they're in. You don't need to moralize. You don't need to tell them how to, unless they ask for your help, you don't need to tell them anything. But if you really want to show how much you care, you can simply reach out to them and say, I'm sorry you're going through that. That must be challenging. That must be difficult. That must be painful. And I'm here for you. That's really all anybody ever needs. So, just wanted to share that reaction. Thank you for your well-wishings. And I am going to be okay. And part of the reason is because I am transparent with my feelings to myself, to the universe, and to others. I have a support system, so thank you for that. And I am going to be okay, and I am going to continue to be transparent with you. So in the future, if I have a lot of feelings that make you uncomfortable, and you want to help me, you can say, hey Mahadeva, sorry you're going through that. That must be challenging. And that will make me feel seen, heard, and loved, as opposed to being demeaned and devalued and talked out of my feelings. All right, there it is. That's it for today. I hope you guys are doing well. I will talk to you soon.